The boy sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the ceiling. The house was dark. The walls were quiet, but he could hear it again. The sound, his mother crying, soft at first, then louder. A broken sound, like someone trying to hide pain, but failing. Every night, it was the same. He closed his eyes, hoping it would stop. But it never stopped. She cried herself to sleep every night since his father left. He told himself not to listen. He told himself it was none of his business. But he could not escape. The sound filled his chest with heaviness. His father had been gone for months. People said he ran away. Some said he left for another woman. Others whispered stranger things. That he disappeared in the woods. That something took him. Something not human. The boy never believed the rumors. His father was strong, brave, a good man. He wouldn't leave them, not like this. And yet, he was gone. No note, no goodbye, nothing. The boy turned his face to the window. The stars outside looked cold. He thought of his father's voice. "Look at the stars, son. They hold secrets." That's what his father used to say. Secrets. Maybe even answers. Tonight the boy heard something new. Between the sobs, his mother whispered words. He sat up and leaned closer to the wall. She wasn't only crying, she was speaking. Talking to someone who wasn't there. Her voice shook. "I can't do this alone. I need someone. He never came back. My son needs a father." The boy froze. His chest tightened. She wasn't just crying. She was begging. Begging the dark for help. For weeks he noticed her writing letters. She would sit at the table late at night, candle burning, pen scratching on paper. Then she hid the letters in a wooden box. He never saw her send them, never saw her deliver them. He thought they were just words, a way to ease her pain. But now, listening through the wall, he understood. Boom. These were not just letters to no one. These were letters to someone. Someone she believed could come. Someone she wanted to take his father's place. The boy's stomach turned. Was his mother betraying his father? Or was she desperate enough to believe in someone else? He pressed his ear harder against the wall. Her voice trembled. "Please, if you hear me, come soon. Protect us. The nights are colder. The silence is heavier. My son, he needs more than just me. He needs someone stronger." The boy's heart pounded. Who was she talking to? He remembered one letter he had secretly peeked at weeks ago. Most of the words made no sense. She wrote about stars, about a war, about things that didn't belong in their small, broken home. One line stayed in his mind. "When the war reaches us, I will need you here." War? What war? He never dared ask her. She was fragile, her eyes always red, her hands always shaking. He couldn't make her suffer more, so he kept quiet. But tonight, as he listened to her broken voice, something changed inside him. Fear, anger, curiosity, all of it mixed together. He needed answers. The wind blew against the window. The boy shivered. For a moment he thought he saw movement outside, a tall shadow near the trees, too tall for a man, too still for an animal. His breath caught. He blinked, and it was gone. He pulled the blanket tighter around his shoulders, but it didn't help. His father was gone, his mother was breaking, and now something unknown was creeping closer. He whispered to himself, "Who are you writing to, Mother? Who are you waiting for?" The clock ticked louder in the silence. Then came a sound, a knock, not on the door, not on the window, a knock from somewhere deeper. The basement. The boy jumped. His skin prickled. He had never heard that before. 3 slow knocks, like someone calling from below. He looked at the door of his room. His mother's sobs had stopped. The house was silent now, too silent. He didn't know if he should move or stay still. His father used to say, "Bravery is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward even when you're afraid." The boy stood, legs shaking. He opened his bedroom door and stepped into the hallway. The floor creaked. The air felt heavier, like the house itself was holding its breath. His mother's room was closed. A faint glow of candlelight came from under the door. He wanted to knock, to ask her what was happening, but another sound stopped him. Footsteps, slow, heavy, coming up from the basement. The boy froze. Whoever his mother had been calling, maybe they had answered. The boy stood frozen in the hallway, his breath sharp in his chest. The sound of heavy footsteps rose from the basement, slow and deliberate, like someone who already belonged in the house. He wanted to run back to his room. He wanted to hide under the blankets, but something stronger held him still. curiosity, fear mixed with a strange pull, as if those footsteps were not just calling to his ears, but also to his blood. The basement door creaked open. A tall figure stepped out of the shadows. The boy's heart slammed against his ribs. The man who stood in the dim light was unlike anyone he had seen before. He was tall, broader than his father, with shoulders that seemed too sharp, too straight. His coat was long and dark, and it shimmered faintly, like metal hidden under fabric. But it was the eyes that froze the boy. They glowed faintly, not bright like lamps, but alive like embers. They held something human and something more. The boy could not breathe. The man looked at him, just looked, and in that look, the boy felt two things at once, fear and safety. Like this stranger could break him in one motion or protect him from everything outside. Who are you? The boy whispered. His voice was barely a sound. The man tilted his head as if the question was too small for the weight of the answer. Then he spoke, his voice deep and layered, carrying an echo that seemed to come from far away. I am not here for you, he said. I am here for her. The boy's blood ran cold. His mother. He wanted to shout, to stop the stranger from moving, but his feet felt nailed to the floor. The man stepped past him, his boots making no sound on the wooden floor, and stopped outside the mother's door. He did not knock. He only spoke softly. I came, he said. The door opened. The boy's mother stood there, candlelight painting her tired face. Her eyes were red from endless nights of crying, yet when she saw the stranger, her tears stopped. Her lips parted, trembling, but not from fear, from recognition. You, she whispered. You finally came. The boy's heart twisted. His mother knew this man. She had been waiting for him, writing to him, calling him. She reached out, placing her shaking hand against the stranger's chest. I thought you would never come. The boy wanted to scream, who is he? What about father? But the words stuck in his throat. The stranger shook his head slowly. I cannot replace your husband, he said, but I can protect you. The war is moving closer. The boy's stomach dropped. There it was again. That word, war. The mother closed her eyes, tears sliding down her cheeks. He never came back, she whispered. He left us. I can't keep holding on. The boy's chest burned. His father hadn't abandoned them. He couldn't have. But hearing his mother's voice, soft and broken, made it feel like truth. The stranger's eyes shifted to the boy now. For the first time, he spoke directly to him. You look like him, the stranger said. The same fire in your face. The boy stumbled back. You knew my father? The stranger nodded once. Better than you think. The mother's voice shook. Don't tell him yet. Please, he's too young. The boy's fists tightened. Tell Ma, what? His voice cracked with anger. The stranger stepped closer. His presence was heavy, like a storm pressing down on the house. Your father did not leave because he wanted to. He left because he was called, because he was needed. He is not lost to you. He is lost to the war. The boy's breath caught. His father, a war. None of it made sense. What war? He demanded. Why are you here? Why now? The stranger studied him for a long, silent moment. Then he turned back to the mother. He will know soon. The enemy is already searching. This home is not safe anymore. The boy's chest tightened with fear. Enemy? Searching for them? For his father? For his mother? For him? He stepped forward, voice trembling. What do they want from us? The stranger's glowing eyes fixed on him, sharp as blades. Not from you, he said. They want you. The boy's stomach dropped. The words made no sense and yet carried the weight of doom. Suddenly, the candlelight flickered. A cold wind swept through the house, though no window was open. The boy turned to the window at the end of the hall. Outside, under the pale moonlight, he saw movement, shapes, shadows. Too many. The stranger spoke in a low, firm voice. They've found you. The boy's heart hammered. His mother gasped, covering her mouth with her hands. The stranger stepped forward, his coat opening to reveal strange armor beneath, metal plates that moved like muscle, lights glowing faintly along his chest. You will have to decide, he said to the boy. Hide, or fight like your father. The boy stared at him, words lost. His father. A war. Enemies in the dark. His mother's secret letters. And now, this stranger who walked out of the shadows like he belonged to another world. The boy's life had just changed, and deep down, he knew there was no going back. The boy stood frozen in the hallway. His heart pounded so loud he could hear it echo in his ears. The stranger's words kept circling in his head. Fight like your father. His father. He had asked about him so many times. Where did he go? Why didn't he come back? Why had he left them alone? His mother always avoided the question, always said, he loved us, but he had no choice. But now this stranger, this man with glowing eyes, stood in their house speaking like he knew everything, like he had been waiting for this moment. The boy clenched his fists. Tell me the truth. I deserve to know. The stranger studied him for a long moment. The glow of his eyes softened, as if he was looking not at a child, but at someone standing on the edge of destiny. You are right, the stranger said. You deserve to know who your father really was. The boy's mother gasped. No, she whispered, stepping forward. He's too young. He cannot carry that weight yet. The boy turned to her, anger flashing in his eyes. You knew? All this time you knew something and you didn't tell me? Tears slid down her cheeks. I wanted to protect you. The boy's throat tightened. Protect him from what? The truth? The stranger's voice cut through the tension. The boy must hear it now. The enemy already knows his bloodline. The boy must not be blind. The boy's stomach twisted. Bloodline? What are you talking about? The stranger looked at him with steady eyes. Your father was not just a man. He was a soldier, a warrior in a war that most humans never see, a war that hides between the stars and in the shadows of your own world. The boy's breath caught. His father? A soldier? He shook his head. That's impossible. My father was a builder. He fixed houses. He worked with his hands. He was normal. The stranger shook his head slowly. That was only the life he showed you. His real duty was greater. He was chosen to fight against the machines, against those who see humans as nothing but dust. The boy staggered back. Machines, war, it sounded insane. And yet, the memory of the shadow outside the window, the heavy foo, its steps from the basement, the way the stranger's armor glowed, none of it felt like lies. Why didn't he tell me, the boy asked, his voice breaking. Why did he just leave? The stranger's voice grew softer. Because he loved you. Because if you knew, the enemy would know too. The less you carried, the longer you could live. The boy's chest ached. His father hadn't left because he stopped loving them. He had left to fight, to protect. But the thought gave him no comfort. It only made the emptiness deeper. The mother turned away, her shoulders trembling. I begged him not to go. I told him I couldn't survive without him. But he said the war needed him more. He promised he would return. Her voice cracked. But he never did. The boy stepped closer to her. Is he still alive? Silence. The stranger looked away, as if the answer was a knife even to him. Finally he spoke. I do not know. He fought bravely, but the war swallows many. If he lives, he is far from here. If he has fallen, then he fell as a hero. The boy's hands shook. Alive? Dead? The not knowing was worse than either. He swallowed hard. And me? Why do they want me? The stranger's glowing eyes locked on him. Because you are his son. His blood carries the key. The machines know this. They fear it. They will not stop until they erase you. The boy's head spun. He was just a boy. He went to school, played in the dirt, argued with his mother. How could he be the target of something so big? I'm nothing like him, the boy whispered. I can't fight a war. The stranger stepped forward, towering over him. You are already like him. The fire is in you. The choice will come. To hide in fear, or to rise and fight. And when that time comes, you will know, just as he did. The boy looked at his mother. She stood with her hand pressed over her mouth, her eyes wide with fear. She had hidden the truth from him for so long. She wanted him to be safe, to live a simple life, but the simple life was gone. He felt anger boil inside him, not at her, not even at his father, but at their shadow that had stolen his life, at the war that had taken everything. He turned back to the stranger, his voice unsteady but stronger than before. If my father was a soldier, then I want to know everything. Teach me, show me. I don't want to hide. The stranger's eyes narrowed, but there was respect in them now. Then you are ready to take the first step. But before he could speak again, the ground trembled beneath their feet. A low mechanical hum filled the air, vibrating through the floorboards. The boy froze. The sound was not thunder. It was not the wind. It was the sound of machines moving in unison. The stranger's face hardened. They are here. The boy's blood ran cold. His father's truth had only just been revealed, and already the enemy had come for him. The house shook again. Dust fell from the ceiling. The boy grabbed the wall for balance as the humming sound grew louder. It was deep, mechanical, and steady, like a heartbeat made of iron. His mother cried out, clutching the candle in her hands. "What is that?" The stranger turned sharply, his coat sweeping behind him. His voice was firm. "The machines. They have found this place." The boy's blood turned cold. He thought of the shadows outside, the shapes moving under the moonlight. They weren't shadows. They were real. They were here. "Machines," his mother whispered. "How did they find us?" The stranger's eyes glowed brighter. "They always find those they hunt, and tonight they hunt him." He nodded toward the boy. The boy's chest tightened. His legs wanted to run, but his heart kept him frozen. The stranger stepped closer to him. His voice was low, but it carried weight. "You must decide now. Stay hidden, or stand like your father." The boy swallowed hard. His father. The man he thought had abandoned them was out there fighting in a secret war. Now the war had come for him. He looked at his mother. Her face was pale, her eyes wide with fear. "Don't make him fight," she begged the stranger. "He's just a boy." The stranger shook his head. "The machines won't care. They will take him whether he fights or not. Better he learns now under my hand than in chains." The boy's fists clenched. His breath shook. I don't know what to do." The stranger placed a heavy hand on his shoulder. "Then I will show you. Watch and remember." The hum outside grew sharper. The glass in the windows rattled. A low metallic screech cut through the night as one of the machines dragged itself into the yard. The boy peered through the window. His stomach twisted. The thing outside was taller than any man, its body made of dark metal, its limbs too long, moving like twisted spiders. A red light glowed where its eyes should be. Another shape appeared behind it. Then another. "They're coming," his mother gasped, pulling the boy back from the window. The stranger stepped forward calmly, as if this was not the first time he had seen such monsters. He pulled his coat aside, revealing the armor beneath. Plates of silver metal clung to his body, pulsing faintly with light. From his belt, he drew a weapon unlike anything the boy had ever seen. It was not a sword, not a gun, but something between, long, sharp, and humming with power. The boy's breath caught. "What is that?" The stranger didn't answer. He stepped to the front door, placed his hand on the wood, and whispered something in a language the boy did not know. The door swung open. The night air rushed in, cold and sharp. The machines moved closer, their legs scraping against the ground, their red eyes fixed on the house. The boy's mother screamed, "Don't go out there!" But the stranger only said, "Stay behind me." And then he walked outside. The boy, trembling, couldn't stop himself from following to the doorway. He had to see. The machines hissed, their joints grinding as they spread out across the yard. The red lights in their heads locked onto the stranger. On. Each of them screeched, a sound like tearing metal, then it lunged forward. The stranger moved faster than the boy thought possible. His weapon lit up with a sharp glow as he swung it, slicing through the machine's leg. Sparks burst into the air. The creature crashed onto its side, thrashing, screeching in rage. Another machine leapt from the shadows, its claws slashing through the air. The stranger twisted, his weapon flashing again. The strike cut deep into the machine's chest, and it fell silent, smoke rising from its broken shell. The boy's eyes widened. This wasn't just fighting. This was survival. The stranger was outnumbered, yet every movement was precise, powerful, controlled. But more machines poured into the yard. Their red eyes glowed in the dark like a sea of burning coals. The boy's chest tightened. They were too many. Even the stranger couldn't stop them all. The stranger shouted back to him, "Do you see, boy? Do you understand now? This is the war your father fought." The boy's hands shook. He wanted to run, to hide, to pretend this was just a nightmare. But another part of him, a deeper part, refused. He couldn't leave his mother. He couldn't let the stranger fight alone. Something inside him sparked. He remembered his father's words. Bravery is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward, even when you're afraid. The boy looked around the hallway. His eyes fell on the wooden box where his mother hid the letters. He rushed to it, pulled it open, and found not only papers, but something heavier beneath, wrapped in cloth. He tore the cloth away, his breath caught. It was a strange device, small, metallic, glowing faintly with the same light as the stranger's armor. His mother gasped when she saw it. "No, not that." But the boy held it tight. It felt warm in his hands, alive. The stranger glanced back, his eyes widening slightly. "So, he left it for you." The machine screeched, circling closer. The stranger shouted, "Activate it, boy, now!" The boy's heart raced. He didn't know how, but when. His fingers brushed the surface. The device pulsed with light, reacting to him. Symbols glowed across its surface. Then, with a burst of energy, it unfolded into something larger. A shield of light formed around his arm. The boy gasped. His father had left this behind. Not for anyone else. For him. The machines froze for a moment as if sensing the change. Then they screeched louder, angrier, rushing forward. The stranger's voice was fierce now. "Your test begins tonight. Show them who you are." The boy raised the glowing shield. His fear was still there, heavy and sharp, but so was something else. A spark, a fire. For the first time he felt what his father must have felt, and he knew this was only the beginning. The shield of light shimmered on the boy's arm, glowing brighter with every heartbeat. He stared at it, his chest rising and falling fast. It wasn't heavy like metal, it wasn't hard like wood. It felt alive, like it was breathing with him, connected to him. The machine screeched louder when they saw it. Their red eyes flared as if they recognized the weapon. They wanted it. No, worse, they feared it. The stranger fought two machines at once, his weapon cutting through their steel limbs. Sparks rained across the yard. He glanced at the boy, his voice sharp. "Good, that is your father's legacy. Hold it tight. It will answer only to you." The boy's mind raced. Legacy? His father had left him this? Not money, not letters, not words. This weapon, this strange light that seemed to pulse with his own blood. One of the machines lunged at him. Instinct made him raise the shield. Crash! The machine's claw slammed against the glowing surface. Sparks burst. The shield held. The impact shook his arm, but it did not break. The boy stumbled back, gasping. He hadn't even moved on purpose. The shield had reacted before he could think. His mother screamed from the doorway. "No! Stop! He's just a child!" But the stranger shouted back, "He is no child anymore! He is the key!" The machine swung again, faster. This time the boy braced himself. The claws scraped against the shield, shrieking like knives on stone. The boy pushed back and the shield flashed with energy. The machine staggered, knocked off balance. The boy's eyes widened. He had pushed it away. Him, not the stranger, not his father, him. Another machine charged. The boy raised the shield again. A sudden force burst from it, a wave of light that struck the machine in the chest. The creature flew backward, crashing into the dirt. The boy froze, staring at his arm. I did that?" The stranger cut down another machine, then turned to him. His glowing eyes narrowed with something like approval. "Yes, the shield is bound to you. It obeys your will. It holds the power of your father's bloodline." The boy's heart pounded. His father had carried this power, had fought with it, and now it belonged to him. The remaining machines circled, their red eyes flickering. They hissed like wild beasts, but none rushed forward. They stayed back, watching the glowing shield, waiting. The stranger lowered his weapon. "They will retreat. They did not come to destroy you tonight, only to test you, to see if the legacy lived." The machines screeched one last time, then turned. Their metal limbs clattered as they vanished into the trees, melting into the darkness. The night grew silent again. The boy collapsed to his knees, the shield fading until only the small device remained on his arm. His breaths came heavy, his body trembling. His mother ran to him, falling to her knees and pulling him into her arms. Tears streaked her face. "My son! My boy!" He clung to her, but his eyes stayed fixed on the device. "He left it for me," he whispered. "Father, he left it for me." The strange stepped closer, his armor dimming as the battle ended. "Yes, he knew one day the war would reach you. He knew one day you would need to rise." The boy looked up at him. "But why me? Why not leave it for you?" The stranger shook his head. "Because it would not answer me. It would not answer anyone. Only his blood. Only his son." The boy touched the device, still warm against his skin. "I don't even know how to use it." "You will learn," the stranger said. "Your father trusted you. That is why he left it. That is why the machines fear you." The boy's mother looked up sharply, anger in her voice. "Fear him? He is just a child. He does not belong in your war." The stranger's eyes glowed brighter. "The war does not ask who belongs. It takes who it must. And now, it has taken him." The boy's throat tightened. He wanted to protest. He wanted to cry that he was only a boy, that he was not ready. But deep inside, he felt something different. The fire the stranger spoke of. The same fire his father must have carried. He stood slowly, the device still clinging to his arm. "If this is mine, if this is what father left me, then I will use it." His mother grabbed his arm. "No, I can't lose you too." The boy turned to her, his voice soft but steady. You won't lose me, Mother. Father left this to protect us. Maybe this is how I bring him back." Her tears fell harder, but she could not answer. The stranger placed his weapon back at his side. "The shield is only the beginning. Your father's legacy is greater still. The machines will return, stronger than before, and when they do, you must be ready." The boy stared at the dark trees, his heart pounding with both fear and determination. The machines had come for him once. They would come again. But next time, he would not just survive, he would fight. The night grew quiet again. The wind whispered through the broken trees, carrying the scent of smoke and metal. The boy stood in the yard, staring at the strange device still clinging to his arm. It no longer shone, but it pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat. His mother held him tightly, afraid to let go. Her arms trembled around him. She had just watched her son fight with a weapon that belonged to a world she had never wanted to see again. She whispered into his hair, "You are my son, not a soldier, not a weapon, just my son." But the boy did not answer. His eyes were fixed on the darkness where the machines had vanished. He knew they would return, and when they did, hiding would no longer be enough. The stranger stood nearby, silent, watching. His glowing eyes dimmed, but his presence was heavy, unshakable. He knew the truth. The boy could no longer live as he had before. The mother finally turned to the stranger, her voice sharp with fear. "You can't have him. You cannot drag him into your war. I already lost my husband. I will not lose my son too." The stranger bowed his head slightly. His voice was calm but firm. "The choice is not mine. It never was. The war has chosen him. The machines know his blood. They will keep coming. If he does not stand, they will take him and you will lose him anyway." Her grip tightened on her son. "Then I will hide him. I will run. We'll go far away, somewhere they can't find us." The stranger shook his head slowly. "There is no place far enough. They will follow his blood across worlds if they must. You cannot run from what he is." Tears burned in her eyes. She shook her head wildly. "No, he is only a boy. He should not carry this curse." The boy finally spoke, his voice quiet but steady. "Mother, father carried it, didn't he?" Her breath caught. She looked at him, her face breaking. "Yes, and it took him from me. Every night I prayed he would come back. Every night I begged the stars, but he never did." The boy touched the device on his arm. "Maybe he left this so I wouldn't be taken from you too." She covered her mouth, sobbing. Her son spoke with a fire that reminded her too much of his father. It terrified her. It also filled her with pride. The stranger stepped closer. "The boy has already shown the fire. He has awakened the shield. That cannot be undone. He must be taught or he will die blind." The mother glared at him through her tears. "And who are you to decide his life? Who gave you this right?" The stranger's voice grew quiet, almost sad. "Your husband did. He asked me to find the boy if the day came. He trusted me to guide him." Her heart stopped. "He asked you?" The stranger nodded. "Before he vanished into battle, he told me, if I do not return, protect them. Teach him when the time comes. He will be stronger than I ever was." The mother sank to her knees, her sobs breaking into the night. She had fought so long to keep her son away from the truth, but her husband's words were like chains. She could not argue against them. The boy knelt beside her, placing his small hand over hers. "Mother," he whispered, "I don't want to leave you, but I don't want to hide anymore either. I don't want the machines to come here again. I want to protect you, like Father wanted to protect us." Her tears spilled onto his hand. She pulled him close, holding him so tightly he could hardly breathe. "I can't lose you too," she whispered over and over. But as she held him, she knew, keeping him hidden would not save him. It would only make him weaker when the machines returned. Finally, she lifted her face, her eyes red but strong. She looked at the stranger. "If I allow this, if I let you teach him, you must promise me one thing." The stranger inclined his head. "Speak." "You must promise me he will not become like his father. Brave, yes. Strong, yes. But not empty, not lost to war. He must keep his heart. He must remain my son." The stranger studied her for a long time. Then he nodded once. "I promise. His strength will be his fire, but his heart will keep him human. Without it, the shield is nothing." The mother looked back at her boy, brushing his hair from his eye. "Ed, do you hear that? You must never lose your heart, no matter what happens, no matter what they tell you. You must stay human." The boy nodded slowly. His voice was quiet, but sure. "I promise, Mother." The wind blew through the trees again, carrying away the last traces of smoke. The machines were gone for now, but their shadow lingered. The boy stood, taller somehow, as if the choice had already begun to shape him. His mother rose too, wiping her tears but keeping her hand on his shoulder. She would not let go. Not tonight. Not ever. The stranger looked at them both. "The war is not far. It will come again, sooner than you think. But now the boy has his weapon, and he has your blessing. He is ready to begin." The boy's mother closed her eyes, breathing in the cold night air. Her heart was torn, but she had made her choice. She would let her son walk the path his father had walked, but she would not let the war steal his soul. Not while she still lived. The boy lay awake long after the house had gone quiet. His mother had cried herself into sleep, her hand still resting protectively on his arm. The stranger stood watch at the window, silent and unmoving, like a statue carved from night. The boy stared at the ceiling, the weight of the device pressed against his arm. It no longer glowed, but he could still feel its pulse. It was not just a weapon, it was a part of him now. He whispered to himself, "Father, if you can hear me, I will not run. I will fight. I will protect her. I will not fail." The hours crawled by. Outside, the moon sank low and the first gray light of dawn crept into the sky. The boy's eyelids finally grew heavy, but just as he began to drift, the ground shook again. He bolted upright. The stranger's eyes flared, glowing bright. "They return," he said. The boy's mother woke with a gasp. "No, not again!" The sound rose from the forest. A low, ow, grinding roar, deeper than before. The machines were not hiding this time. They were marching, dozens of them, their red eyes glowing like a sea of fire in the shadows. The boy's stomach twisted. Last night had been only a test. Tonight was the real attack. The stranger drew his weapon, its hum sharp in the air. "Stay close to me," he told the boy. "Tonight you will learn what it means to fight." The machines burst from the trees, faster, louder, more vicious than before. Their metal limbs clawed at the ground, their voices screeching like broken sirens. The boy's mother screamed, pulling him back, but he shook free. "I can't hide anymore," he said, his voice trembling but strong. The device on his arm flared to life, unfolding into the shield of light once more. Its glow bathed the yard in a pale fire. The machine screeched at the sight, surging forward. The first machine leapt at him, claws raised. The boy raised the shield. The impact sent him stumbling, but he held his ground. Sparks showered the dirt. The stranger cut another down with a swift strike, shouting over the noise. "Good, hold your ground. Feel the shield. Let it guide you." The boy gritted his teeth. The shield pulsed in his hand, steady and sure, almost as if it were alive. When the machine swung again, the boy pushed forward. A blast of light erupted, throwing the creature into the air. He gasped, wide-eyed. He hadn't even thought. He had only wanted it gone, and the shield obeyed. More machines surrounded him. He turned left, then right, the shield flashing with each movement, blocking strikes that should have crushed him. Fear still clawed at his chest, but behind it, a new feeling rose. Strength. His mother watched from the doorway, tears streaming down her face. She wanted to run to him, to pull him back inside, but she couldn't move. For the first time, she saw her son not as a child, but as something more. The stranger fought beside him, his weapon carving through metal, his movements sharp and precise. Yet even he glanced at the boy with something seeing. Lose to awe. The shield was not just powerful, it was awakening. But the machines were endless. For every one that fell, two more pushed forward. Their glowing eyes filled the night, red dots against the dark trees. The stranger shouted, "They are testing you no longer. Tonight they mean to take you." The boy's heart raced. He struck back again and again, but the swarm grew tighter. His arm ached, his body shook. The shield pulsed stronger, but even its light could not hold back the flood forever. Then a new sound cut through the chaos, a deeper hum, colder than the rest. The machines parted, making way. From the forest, a massive shape emerged. Taller than a house, its body black as stone, its eyes burning like molten fire. The boy froze. This was no scout. This was a commander. The stranger's face hardened. "So, they send their beast." The commander machine stepped forward, each footfall shaking the ground. Its voice boomed, metallic and cruel. "The bloodline ends tonight." The boy's chest tightened. It knew him. It spoke of his father. It wanted to erase them both. The stranger raised his weapon high. "Do not falter, boy. This is your test. The commander charged, the earth trembling beneath its weight. The boy raised his shield, fear and fire battling inside him. He thought of his mother's voice, never lose your heart, and his father's words, move forward, even when afraid. The shield blazed brighter than ever before, its light flooding the night. The boy braced himself as the massive machine's claw came crashing down. And then, the screen of the world seemed to cut to black.